controlling the clouds, but it was like amazing. It was just amazing. Everything that was in the woods, like the leaves and the grass, were floating in slow motion as if we were a fish in a fish bowl. And you know when there's leaves in the fish bowl, they kind of like this. That's what it felt like. I felt like a fish. And that's when I realized that's what the universe was wanting me to do. It was wanting me to relax, and it was wanting me to go the speed of the trees and the grass. So I immediately calmed down. So it really made me calm. The next part of the journey was it started getting dark. I did not want to leave. It was gorgeous, but it was getting dark. We did make a fire. I know my friend loved the fire. She thought it was absolutely beautiful. It didn't do much for me. I mean, the fire was cool, but it wasn't beautiful to me. But after the fire and it started getting dark, our spirit leader wanted to leave along with his friends. He did invite friends. And I did not want to leave, but we did. So we stuffed ourselves into the car and left. Now, I know some people have said that they've loved tripping in a car, that it's amazing, but for me it was hell. It was absolutely hell. The driver was playing Mozart, which was what he had to listen to drive, because he was tripping too, which wasn't the smartest thing, but that's what was happening. The only reason I survived was because I had put headphones on with my own music. And I had closed my eyes and completely had to lose reality because I couldn't stand being in the car. So there's one thing about being on LSD that is maybe a good thing, maybe a bad thing. There is no sense of time. No reality of time. You could be driving for 5 minutes and it feels like 2 hours. So, of course, that made the trip a little more excruciating. So we get back to a house. My friends had a friend who we went to his little house. You know what? The second part of the trip was awful for me. This guy's house was small. It was messy. I think he was moving out. I think that's what it was. And I hated it. There was nothing on the wall. There was nothing to look at. I was still tripping balls. And yeah, so you know what, I don't even want to talk about the rest of the trip because it wasn't good for me. But now, I'll start in some of my advice for someone who would like to do it. Number one, when I went, there's too many people. I had gone with my friend, her friend, and then his friend had invited 2 other guys that I did not know. Too many people. This is an individual experience. When there's too many people, they will stop you from reaching your full trip potential, from completely losing reality. So that's one thing. I would say go with one person, your best friend, and one person who has experience with acid. At least one trip. Because I'd like to say do it yourself, but I think it'd be too scary your first time by yourself. Number 2, be in a safe place. The peninsula was perfect because we were surrounded by water. We could see miles and miles away. We were completely open. And being in the woods was cool, but we could have definitely been lost. And that would have been really dangerous. We would have probably really gotten scared if we hadn't found our way out. Make sure you're by a road. Something that will lead you to where your car is or back to where your home is. Because when you're tripping, you can't really think about what you're doing, where you're going. You're not making logical decisions. So, a road to follow is good. Another mistake that me and my friend made is we brought a whole bunch of stuff with us. Bad idea. My headphones that I had brought had a very long cord that got caught in everything. We'd brought blankets, we'd brought food and water and stuff to keep us occupied because we thought we would need it. No, you don't want to bring anything. I would suggest a jacket with a zipped pocket that you keep your keys, your ID, your extra money in, and your phone in, and your headphones. That's it. Nothing else. Don't bring a bag. A blanket's okay, but don't bring a bag full of shit that you have to keep track of. that made our trip very bad. My friend actually ended up losing her iPod. Thank God I didn't lose anything important besides my cigarettes. Anyways, be in a safe place. We dropped LSD at 5:30, and which means that we didn't come down until maybe 11 or 12 in the morning. And then I couldn't sleep at all until 6 o'clock in the morning. So we were up all night. For me especially, that was a terrible, terrible idea. If you're going to do LSD, I would suggest starting it early, so maybe like 9 or 10 in the morning, and having it during the day, so that you can sleep at night, because that majorly messed me up the next 2 days. Oh, and that's another thing. You have to make sure that you give yourself at least 2 days. 1 day for LSD, 1 day for recovery, because there is a recovery. A lot of recovery. Bring water. And, bring water and bring food, because people told me that you lose your appetite and that you throw up and get sick when you're on LSD, but I don't know if it was because I smoked a ton of weed while I was doing it or because I was just hungry, but we brought no food and we were starving. So I would have means of getting food. Other than that, people say to bring things